Secrets will uncover. Buying or selling.
I'll get right on
That was a mistake. Ready for action! Who knows what secrets will uncover? We're gonna be rich. To arms! Your history. Warriors, come out to play.
side effects. No. Trust me.
Golems are a girl's best friend. I have no time for games.
Hello, I'm Simon Whistler. You're watching the Today I Found Our YouTube channel. And in the video today, we're looking at the surprisingly recent time tests using rabbits and frogs with a gold standard for detecting human pregnancy. We live in an age where determining if a woman is pregnant is ridiculously simple and cheap. Go back a few decades though, and the latest and greatest technology in determining whether a woman was with child involved a syringe full of urine and little animals. Yes, as bizarre as it's going to sound, you really can use things like rabbits or a number of other animals
Things to do with your chinchilla. Chase him when he gets loose.
Come back here!
Watch how adorable he is when he eats.
You want the peanut. You want the peanut. You want the peanut.
Use him as a hat.
I think my hat just pooped down my shirt.
Use him to exhaust a toddler. Give him a dust bath. Use a guinea pig. Give him the ultimate chin scratch. Exclaim over his softness.
You're so soft! Oh, the softness. When you die, I'm turning you into a sock. Yeah, just one, you're not very big.
Put kittens in their place. And most of all, love him.
You're a cool little dude, you know that? You know.
The safety in the numbers of this God for
Hello everyone, my name is Gabe Kaysen, and today I'm going to be showing you how I train Nimbus the Chinchilla. When I develop a behavior or create a training plan of any kind, I try to think of two different things. The first is how I can achieve the most mentally stimulating, entertaining, and challenging environment for Nimbus. The second is what behaviors can be useful in reducing the amount of pressuring I have to do. In other words, what can I teach him to do that I normally would have to force him to do myself? Chinchillas, similar to other rodent counterparts, are exceptionally smart and show themselves to be very adept when it comes to learning both quickly and accurately. Nimbus currently knows 5 different behaviors. Today I will be going over the 3 most important. The first is his come command, which I chose to indicate by tapping the spot I want him to come to in a particular rhythm and volume that is unique to me. This was the first command he learned, and it came very naturally, with little need for an in-depth training plan. I started placing small piles of rewards, in this case oats, in a spot visible to him. I would then tap the ground near the treats until he realized that the rewards were there. Soon he began to associate my tapping with food being on that ground in that spot. I slowly transitioned from the food being on the ground to being handed to him by me when he came to that spot, and have since used it to command him to come for the start of every training session. Chinchillas are naturally curious about what you are doing, and this makes it very easy to capture behaviors quickly, like this one. Take the time to make sure you know what kind of rewards you can use for positive reinforcement with chinchillas. As their digestive system is extremely sensitive, this limits their treat options harshly. But with creative diets and supplements, you may notice that your chinchilla has a very particular preference for one type of food. I found that using oats as rewards works well in the training session, and a dust bath works well to conclude a great session. The second behavior I train Nimbus to do is to crate, or go inside his carrier. The behavior is designated by me tapping on the top of the carrier and commanding crate. Nimbus knows this to mean to go inside of the carrier. This behavior was taught by using the come command inside of the crate several times in succession, until he began to associate the inside of the carrier with being rewarded. With the come command stated firmly before every behavior, I slowly transitioned my tapping of the carrier to different areas on the carrier and in successively less taps, until eventually I merely had to tap the crate to indicate it and say the command. The final behavior Nimbus knows is one of the first that should be taught to any animal, and is the one that I train the most often on Nimbus, as it can be very fun and mentally stimulating for him when done in a challenging manner. The behavior target, indicated by some sort of rod or pole with a designated end, and the verbal command encourages Nimbus to touch his nose to the end of the target. Chinchillas are extremely easy to train to target because of their reliance on olfactory organs and natural curiosity. The first time I brought the target out to Nimbus, he sniffed it instinctively, and I immediately captured by saying "good" and rewarding. After 2 more times sniffing, he understood the deal. He put his nose on the target, and he gets a treat. It's important to use some sort of bridge, whether good or a clicker, so that you can tell him the exact moment he did the correct behavior, as your rewarding him is slightly delayed. In this regard, if you are just beginning, it may be a good idea to simply associate a sound, i.e. a clicker, with being rewarded. If your chinchilla does not naturally sniff the target, and you cannot quickly capture the behavior, start by pressing the target to their nose for them and rewarding. Eventually, you should be able to move it further and further from their face. Nimbus enjoys a thorough stretch sometimes to touch his target. Well, that's all for this video, but I suspect that I will be making many more in the near future. If you enjoyed watching Nimbus, or you have any questions at all, please subscribe or follow Nimbus on Facebook at Nimbus the Chinchilla. Thanks for watching. To come for the start of every training session. Chinchillas are naturally curious about what you are doing, and this makes it very easy to capture behaviors quickly, like this one. Take the time to make sure you know what kind of rewards you can use for positive reinforcement with chinchillas. As their digestive system is extremely sensitive, this limits their treat options harshly. But with creative diets, you know what kind of rewards you can use for positive reinforcement with chinchillas. As their digestive system is extremely sensitive, this limits their treat options harshly. But with creative diets and supplements, you may notice that your chinchilla has a very particular preference for one type of food. I found that using oats as rewards works well in the training session, and a dust bath works well to conclude a great session. The second behavior I train Nimbus to do is to crate, or go inside his carrier. The behavior is designated by me tapping on the top of the carrier and commanding crate. Nimbus knows this to mean to go inside of the carrier. This behavior was taught by using the come command inside of the crate several times in succession, until he began to associate the inside of the carrier with being rewarded. With the come command stated firmly before every behavior, I slowly transitioned my tapping of the carrier to different areas on the carrier and in successively less taps, until eventually I merely had to tap the crate to indicate it and say the command. The final behavior Nimbus knows is one of the first that should be taught to any animal, and is the one that I train the most often on Nimbus, as it can be very fun and mentally stimulating for him when done in a challenging manner. The behavior target, indicated by some sort of rod or pole with a designated end, and the verbal command encourages Nimbus to touch his nose to the end of the target. Chinchillas are extremely easy to train to target because of their reliance on olfactory organs and natural curiosity. The first time I brought the target out to Nimbus, he sniffed it instinctively, and I immediately captured by saying "good" and rewarding. After 2 more times sniffing, he understood the deal. He put his nose on the target, and he gets a treat. It's important to use some sort of bridge, whether good or a clicker, so that you can tell him the exact moment he did the correct behavior, as you are rewarding him as slightly delayed. In this regard, if you are just beginning, it may be a good idea to simply associate a sound, i.e. a clicker, with being rewarded. If your chinchilla does not naturally sniff the target, and you cannot quickly capture the behavior, start by pressing the target to their nose for them and rewarding. Eventually, you should be able to move it further and further from their face. Nimbus enjoys a thorough stretch sometimes to touch his target. Well, that's all for this video, but I suspect that I will be making many more in the near future. If you enjoyed watching Nimbus, or you have any questions at all, please subscribe and follow Nimbus on Facebook at Nimbus the Chinchilla. Thanks for watching.
Warriors, come out to play.
For owning a chinchilla. These aren't a pet for everyone, so this video is just going to tell you things that you should know before you own one of these cool little critters. They are really cool pets, but they do have their pros and cons, so make sure, number one, do your research. Literally is having so much fun. And she's having So number one, these are not a cuddly pet. These aren't going to be like cat and dog.
Never mind.
And quiet, and they are very flightish. So yeah, if you start with a baby, usually you'll be able to handle them. But if your chinchilla is not tame, that won't be the case. But if you're thinking about getting a chinchilla, make sure you get a baby so you can bond, or get one that is used to being handled. So yeah, this is Lola. So I've had her since she was a newborn, so I can handle her. She'll come up and let me pet her. She'll use me as her playground. That's one of their favorite things to do. And she's really nice. So yeah, she's not like your typical chinchilla where they're skittish usually. She is very easy to train, but that is because I've raised her since a newborn, and she's pretty much bonded with me. So I would recommend starting off with the baby and just handling them all the time, making sure that you guys bond. So yeah, that's my tip number one. So as you can see, she's really tame. I have raised her since a baby, so me and her have kind of bonded. So you want to make sure you have a chinchilla at a young age, that way you guys can bond and they're tame and being held. And number two, these are an exotic pet, so you want to make sure you have a vet in your area that can treat your chinchilla if you ever need to. So make sure you have an exotic animal vet in your area before buying your chinchilla. What are you doing? What are you doing? So they are an exotic animal, so not all vets will see them. So make sure your vet in your area is familiar with chinchillas and can treat your chinchilla if ever needed. Number three is playtime. Your chinchilla will need playtime. I usually try to give them about a half of an hour of playtime almost every day. I do work, so it's kind of hard, but just make sure you at least give them at least a half an hour a day of playtime out of their cage just to get exercise. They do get bored easily. So the best place to let them have playtime is in a bathroom. Just make sure it's chin proof. They will chew on everything. Make sure, of course, they can't get to water, so make sure your toilet is closed and there's no excess water laying around your bathroom. And number 4, these guys have a lifespan of 15 to 20 years. So you guys want to make sure that before you buy one, make sure these guys are going to be long term. Don't just get it because it's cute and fluffy. You're going to have these guys for 15 to 20 years. So if you don't see yourself still owning a pet in 15 to 20 years, I would not recommend these guys. And make sure you're committed because these guys are a commitment. Number 5 is going to be the cost. So these guys are really expensive starting out. Your chinchilla can cost you anywhere from $50 to $300 and up. For a good quality chinchilla, they'll run from anywhere from $75 to $300. So, and your cage can also be really costly. So these guys are pretty costly starting out. So just look into some chinchilla breeders around your area, see what they're asking. Usually pet chinchillas will be a little bit more cheaper than more of a show quality chinchilla. So, and also check with your local newspaper or even your local like Craigslist. Check on there, usually they have older chinchillas looking for homes. Just make sure your chinchilla that you're buying is tame. And number 6 is space. So these guys do require a large cage. So you are going to need somewhere to put their cage, preferably probably not in the same room as you. As I'll talk about later, they are nocturnal, so you're probably not going to be able to sleep at night. Number 6 is these guys are nocturnal, so you're not going to want to put their cage in the same room as you. Nocturnal just means they're up all night and sleep in the day. So these guys are going to be really noisy at night, usually running around their cage, bouncing off the walls. If you guys are heavy sleepers like me, it doesn't really make a difference. These guys live in the same room as me, and I sleep fine because I am a heavy sleeper. So these guys are nocturnal, so just remember that when deciding where to place their cage. Number 8 is make sure your chinchilla has plenty of things to do. They get bored very easily, so make sure they have plenty of toys in their cage. Their teeth also continually grow throughout the year, so you need to make sure they have pumice stones or wood to constantly chew on, to constantly trim down their teeth. You need to have good air conditioning. These guys have really thick coats, so they can get heat strokes really quick if they get overheated. So my best tip is make sure the room that you decide to put their cage in has really good air conditioning and can stay at a steady temperature all year round. And number 10, these guys are a messy pet. While I don't mean themselves, they're actually really clean animals. It's just that, like any other rodent, they are constantly pooping, so you do need to have to clean up after them very often. But other than that, they're a really clean animal, kind of like a cat. And yeah, they never stink. Just make sure you are ready for your chinchilla, and you are going to be a lifelong pet owner. So I hope you guys enjoyed my video. I hope you enjoyed seeing my cute little chinchillas running around. And I hope this helped you make your decision if you are the right home for a chinchilla. These guys are really awesome pets. Just make sure you guys are ready and committed to a lifelong of happiness and laughter with these guys. So, yeah, so thanks for watching, guys, and until next time, bye!
Hey, what's up you guys? Today's video is going to be on 10 tips on owning a chinchilla. Which is pretty much just a do and don't kind of thing. Hi! Having a dust bath? Yeah? So, I'm just gonna read off my 10 tips for you. And yeah, Rose is out and the box isn't here anymore from yesterday. so that's moved out. And I'm gonna clean up Rose's cage later because I don't have a garbage bag down here, so I have to get one, and then I'll clean it out. So yeah,
You
here's
require
Rose.
my
I'll
assistance.
put her as at her usual spot. Oh, my tip number 1 would be, many people have trouble trying to get their chinchillas where they want them to go, either in a playpen or getting them out of their cage just to clean it. So, a tip here would be, chinchillas love dust baths, obviously, if you have one. They love dust baths, so what you can do is take the dust bath house, if you have the ones from a pet store, like the house-shaped ones, you know what I'm talking about? So if you have that, you can stick that in their cage, in their playpen, in their play area, and you can stick that in there, they'll jump in there, and then you just cover up the hole with your hand, just like this, and then lift the house and put them in the back of their cage, or in their spot where you need to put them for cage cleaning and stuff. That's really not, I mean, it's less stressful for the chinchilla instead of trying to grab them in their cage or chase them when they're out playing. So it's a good idea if your chinchilla is still not used to you yet, and it's a great way to just transfer them somewhere safely. Another tip would be to make sure they have a safe area to play in. If they don't have a safe area, you're just going to be chasing them around, telling them, don't do this, especially when there's wires around, especially me, because this room is an office area, so I really have to have things covered up, because pretty much over here is just like wires and wires. So, covering all that stuff up is very important. Hi Rose, you say hi? You said I didn't say it? Hello. Hi. So cute. So having things covered like this, cardboard boxes, or you can use a big playpen that attaches from both sides of your cage, and then you can let the door open to let them come out. And another tip is to always leave the door open while they're having playtime. Their cages are safe spots, so they want to run back in there if they hear a noise or something like that. So leave that open for them. And if you have a playpen, you can just attach it to the sides of the cage, and then it'll go around and then just like hook onto the other side, so it's all safe for them. Buying cool hanging toys and stuff will encourage your chinchilla's natural chewing behavior. Their teeth are open-rooted, so they grow throughout their whole life and can grow 2 to 3 inches a year, which is a lot. I mean, our teeth don't do that, so it's a lot. So yeah, there's a lot of cool hanging toys and stuff you can buy online if you search it and stuff. I have a chinchilla websites video. If you want to go check that out, you can find it on my channel somewhere. So yeah, there's a lot of cool websites you can buy things off of for your chinchilla. So they really like to chew on things, and the toys aren't that expensive. It depends on which ones you get. Pumice stones are nice for chinchillas. My chinchillas don't use them, but some chinchillas do, and then those are only like $1. I've seen those for $1 on some websites, so it's not a lot. It's very cheap. So yeah, Rosie. She likes to sit in my hand. So yeah. Interacting with your chinchilla every day will get them used to you. I mean, if you interact with them every day, you'll be used to them, and they'll be used to you. So that'll get them bonded to you. And giving them treats while you try to bond with them also helps, in case you want to do that. But remember, only 1 to 2 a day. Also, you want to place your chinchilla's cage in a quiet, clean, and safe area for your chinchillas. This room is very quiet. It actually should be in temperatures less than 75 degrees. Anything over 75 degrees can be very harmful for your chinchilla. They cannot go any temperatures higher than that. So I keep my chinchillas in the basement, which is a perfect 65 degrees, like all the time. And in the summer, someone's hyper. Someone's hyper, yeah. So even in the summertime, it'll be about 60 degrees. So their fur is very soft. If you poke them, like your finger, keep going, but like, yeah, just make sure the temperature is nice and it's quiet, They do sleep during the day because they are crepuscular. I can never pronounce that word, but it's like crepuscular. I don't know, something like that. So during the day they want to sleep and not be bothered by like screaming little kids or something like that. So smoochers are a quiet place and uncluttered, so when they come out of their cage it's not very messy and they can actually run around. Also, another great idea is to, if you think your chinchilla is getting lonely, you can buy them a friend, or adopt from a rescue. I got Rose a friend, Jasmine, but they actually don't bond well together right now. So, but it's getting a lot better because a lot of you, excuse me, a lot of you guys have been asking me about that. But yeah, it's been getting better. They do get along well. My thing, I got Rose a friend, Jasmine, but they actually don't bond well together right now. So, but it's getting a lot better because a lot of you, excuse me, a lot of you guys have been asking me about that. But yeah, it's been getting better. They do get along well. My thing is that they get along if they are in a different cage that none of them has ever been in before, and a whole different room, which none of them has ever been in. There, they don't have any sense or like advantages in their cage, so they actually don't fight at all when it's like that, and they're in a cage for like 10 minutes, but you never know, that could mean nothing, you know? And I don't want to put them in a cage just like randomly, because chinchillas can fight with each other to like the death, so I don't want to harm them like that. Okay, so this is probably the most important thing, but it's getting a lot better because a lot of you, excuse me, a lot of you guys have been asking me about that. But yeah, it's been getting better. They do get along well. My thing is that they get along if they are in a different cage that none of them has ever been in before, and a whole different room, which none of them has ever been in. There, they don't have any sense or like advantages in their cage, so they actually don't fight at all when it's like that, and they were in a cage for like 10 minutes, but you never know, that could mean nothing, you know? And I don't want to put them in a cage just like randomly, because chinchillas can fight with each other to like the death, so I don't want to harm them like that. Okay, so this is probably the most important thing. There's some rumors going around on the internet saying that you should feed your chinchilla vegetables. That statement is completely false. You should never feed your chinchilla vegetables. It's very bad for them. It can actually get, it'll cause an imbalance in the chin's gut and trigger a buildup of harmful toxins in the intestines and the bowel area of a chinchilla, which can pretty much kill them. So you do not want to give them any type of vegetable, even if it's on a rare occasion, so just don't do that. Stay away from that. Save all your vegetables for guinea pigs, which is what I do. So you just don't want to do that. Okay, so another thing you do not want to do is get your chinchilla, if you have a female chinchilla, do not get it a male friend. Another thing is, if you have a male chinchilla, do not get it a female friend. They will mate and cause babies, or kits are what they're called. Chinchilla breeding is a very complicated thing, so it's better you just don't get a male-female pair. It's very dangerous. If your female chinchilla becomes pregnant, then there's many possible genetics and stuff that can go wrong with the chinchilla that is pregnant. There's things that are called the lethal factor, which is another breeding thing that you have to be aware of. And there's mummified kits, and it's just a lot of nasty stuff. So just don't buy a male-female pair. Another obvious tip would be never give your chinchilla a water bath. Their fur is very special, and it cannot work with water very well. The water can actually get trapped underneath because it's so like fluffy and stuff. So just don't give them water baths. I think that's pretty obvious for a chinchilla owner. If you didn't know that and you're a chinchilla owner, then it's good that you know that now. So yeah. Another good tip to remember, which is my last tip, is to don't expose your chinchilla to plastic, even though I have plastic right here. I'll show you myself. I have plastic right over here. Jasmine, I cover it up anyway, but Jasmine doesn't try to get at it. She doesn't try to get at the plastic. She's not a chewer. She barely chews on her wood shells. And Rose chews on everything that is near her face. So I just don't give her plastic. Don't give them plastic. It can cause impactions in their stomach and can lead to death. So that's another important thing. Even though there's like igloos and stuff that you can buy at the stores, just stay away from those. Stay to wooden houses and just natural things like that instead of plastic. Alrighty, so I hope you enjoyed my 10 tips on chinchillas. So thanks for watching. If you have any questions, you can just comment below. And if you didn't remember any of the tips, I will be putting them in the description bar, or whatever you want to call it. So yeah, just go check that out at the description bar. And please comment, rate, and subscribe. Bye.
Side effects? No.
Hi, I'm Amy Kelly, and I'm at Pet Stop in Shawnee Mission, Kansas. And today we're going to talk about whether a pet chinchilla is right for you on About.com. Chinchillas are furry rodents found in the Andes of South America. They're usually active at dusk and dawn, and they're known for their perky and bouncy personalities. Chinchillas are known for their thick, lustrous coat, which can be found in a variety of colors, big ears, and the females weigh in at about 1.5 pounds. Those are a little bit larger than the males. Chinchillas are very fun, entertaining pets, and you could say they have personalities a little bit like a squirrel, which means they have a low attention span. That's all right, though. If they're a little bit timid at first, don't worry. Just be patient with them, approach them closely, and they'll be great pets for a long time. As far as pets go, chinchillas have a pretty long lifespan. They can live anywhere from 12 to 20 years. Chinchillas do make great family pets, but it's probably recommended that older children are more suited for them. They're very timid at first, and the children do have to be patient. You also must have to learn to hold them in the correct fashion with one hand underneath the body and one underneath the feet, and very securely, but not too tight, which a lot of young children do. If they are held too tight, they do tend to bite, which is probably a no-no for young children. So just think about this and educate yourself on the chinchilla. Although they're timid, chinchillas love attention. So if you can, make a little time to visit with them every day. In the best case scenario, get them a little chinchilla companion. Chinchillas do have specific requirements. One, they overheat easily, so you're going to want to keep a constant temperature anywhere from about 60 to 75 degrees, preferably 60 to 7, which is their natural environment. Also, they'll need dust baths regularly to keep their oils in check. And thirdly, they do need exercise, so if you can, get them a nice little exercise wheel to go in their habitat. Chinchillas do need to eat daily a high-fiber pelleted diet. They won't eat very much, but you want to make sure that you offer plenty of it every day. Also, supplement that with Timothy hay, which aids in the digestion. They have very sensitive digestive systems. Treats are optional, and never give them more than a teaspoon a day. The most money you'll be spending is on the chinchilla dust, Timothy hay, food, and bedding. You will have to change these regularly, and if they live up to 20 years, that can be a long investment, but it is well worth it as they are fun companions. Chinchilla's teeth do grow throughout their life, so it's very important to stick a chew stick in their habitat at all times. Other than that, just do your education on the proper heat, temperature, and food requirements, and you'll have a great long life with your chinchilla. To find out more information, check us out on the web at About.com.
Okay guys, so mom is doing my hair and then I'm gonna go to practice.
This might sting a cry. This
An axe to grind.
This might sting.